This story is based on a true incident and follows the life of a young woman named Sarah Defer, whose ordinary teenage rebellion is twisted into a nightmare that lasts for decades. At the start, Sarah lives in a seemingly normal home with her mother, her father, and her older sister. She is young, restless, and eager to experience life beyond strict rules. When she asks to attend a party, her father refuses. The denial sparks a familiar kind of frustration, one that feels temporary, like any family argument. So Sarah retreats to her room, angry and determined to make her own choices. Tomum Beenders. That night, her boyfriend Christopher secretly comes to see her. Sarah slips out without her family knowing and joins him at the party. For a few hours she feels free, laughing and enjoying the night, convinced that her future will soon belong to her. When she returns home in the early morning, she is met by her mother and sister. They talk as a family, and Sarah shares a bold plan. In 3 months she will turn 18, and once she becomes an adult, she intends to leave and live her life on her own terms. Unknown to her, her father hears this. The moment is small, almost casual, but it plants something dangerous inside him. But 3 months pass, and Sarah's 18th birthday draws near. One day, when Sarah and her father are alone at home, he asks for help carrying things into the basement. Sarah agrees without suspecting anything, thinking it is just another household task. Together they descend the stairs. In the basement, her father reveals a hidden door, something Sarah never knew existed, Topley, something the rest of the family has never seen. Behind it is a secret room, built with intention and secrecy. Sarah is shocked, confused by the discovery, and before she can fully process what she is seeing, her father steps inside with her. Then the trap closes. He shuts the hidden door and locks her in, cutting her off from the house above. Sarah panics, screams, and pounds on the barrier, desperate to be heard. But her father does not respond with concern or regret. He walks away, calm and controlled, leaving her alone in a space designed to erase her presence. The door is secured by a password system. Sarah tries pressing random numbers, hoping for a miracle, but instead she triggers the mechanism in a way that shuts down the lights. Darkness floods the room. She shouts even louder, fighting fear with sheer volume. At first her voice carries upward. A ventilation opening allows air to pass, and through it, sound travels too. Her father hears the cries from above. Rather than freeing her, he blocks the ventilation, sealing the last fragile connection between Sarah and the world outside. With the airflow reduced and the room plunged into silence, Sarah realizes she has been buried alive inside her own home. Baindus. She searches frantically for anything that can help. She checks the box she carried down with her and finds it filled with her personal items, proof that this was planned. Upstairs, her mother and sister begin to worry when Sarah does not return. Hours become longer than they should. Then a day passes, then another. Panic spreads through the family. Eventually, Sarah's mother contacts the police. Sarah's motherless, but early assumptions work against her. Authorities suggest Sarah might have run away on her own, that teenagers sometimes disappear from encouraged. Meanwhile, Sarah's father returns to the basement. Sarah senses him coming and tries to fight. The moment the door opens, she attacks, driven by survival. She attempts to escape, but the outer exit is locked. Her father's rage rises, not because he regrets what he has done, but because she resists. He drags her back into the hidden room and sexually assaults her. The betrayal is beyond comprehension. The person meant to protect her is the one destroying her. Sarah is left in shock, crushed by grief and confusion, unable to understand why her life has been stolen so brutally. Days pass. Sarah counts them in the only way she can, through hunger, exhaustion, and the dim sense of time in confinement. After about 3 weeks, her birthday arrives. Instead of freedom, she receives another manipulation. Her father brings a cake and acts as if he is offering something like kindness. He tells her that obedience will lead to release. Sarah, clinging to any chance of survival, forces herself to cooperate, even as the violence continues. What he calls conditions are really chains, and the promised freedom never comes. Manned upstairs, Sarah's mother and sister are suffering, searching, and grieving. Her father keeps feeding them an explanation that fits Sarah's earlier words about leaving at 18. He repeats the idea until it sounds plausible, until it becomes a story that even outsiders might believe. But Sarah's mother knows her daughter's heart, and the doubt never leaves her. As months turn into a year, Sarah remains imprisoned. Her father occasionally brings her items she requests, small comforts that make the captivity more bearable and keep her dependent. A clock, a television, objects that create the illusion of a life while ensuring she stays hidden. Sarah never stops looking for a way out. She even tries creating a weapon from whatever she can find, hoping to strike at the moment her father grows careless. She attempts another attack, but he anticipates resistance. He beats her severely, reinforcing reinforcing the power difference with brutality. Christopher, Sarah's boyfriend, refuses to let her vanish. He returns to the family home again and again, asking questions, trying to understand what happened. Each time he meets Sarah's father, he receives the same denial, the same cold insistence that no one knows where Sarah is. The years begin to pile up, and yet Christopher continues searching, unable to move on, unable to accept that a person can simply disappear. Inside the basement, the nightmare deepens. Sarah becomes pregnant. She gives birth to a baby girl in captivity, without safety, without medical care, without any true support. She is still a teenager, now a mother, raising a child inside a hidden room. The baby grows surrounded by concrete walls and dim light, learning the world through Sarah's eyes and Sarah's fear. Sarah's dreams of escape become heavier, because she is no longer fighting only for herself. Time continues to grind forward. Around 4 years pass in the basement, and Sarah becomes pregnant again. This time she gives birth to a boy. Now there are 2 children living in the concealed space. Sarah tries to make the room feel less like a prison for them, but the truth cannot be softened. They are trapped, and the threat of their captor is constant. And outside, Christopher's persistence brings him back into contact with Sarah's older sister. In conversation, the contradictions in the family's story become impossible to ignore. Sarah's sister begins to question their father's behavior, and the strange certainty with which he dismisses every attempt to search deeper. Suspicion slowly takes root where denial once lived. Sarah's mother, desperate, tries to hire a private investigator. Her father blocks it, creating conflict and chaos to stop outside scrutiny. Arguments erupt. The household fractures under the weight of unanswered loss. During one confrontation, Sarah's older sister notices keys fall from her father's pocket. They look important, unfamiliar. When she follows her instincts and goes to the basement to investigate, she finds it cluttered with stored items. She senses something is wrong, but before she can search properly, her father appears and drives her away with anger and intimidation. The near discovery only increases the danger for Sarah, because it proves the secret is vulnerable. In the basement, Sarah becomes pregnant a 3rd time and gives birth again. After the birth, she tries to negotiate for her children's sake. She pleads for at least 1 child to be taken out of the darkness and raised by her mother. Her father agrees, but only in a way that protects his lies. He places the baby outside the home with a note crafted to make it seem like Sarah abandoned the child due to hardship. Sarah's mother finds the infant and, stunned, takes the baby in. Hidden beneath, there is another message meant for Sarah's mother, revealing the truth about the basement. But Sarah's father discovers this second note first. The rage it triggers leads to more violence, more punishment, and more assaults. Every attempt Sarah makes to reach the outside world is answered with cruelty. Entered by the time 14 years have passed, Sarah's children are no longer infants. Her daughter is growing into a teenager inside captivity. Sarah begins to notice the predator's gaze shifting, no longer aimed only at her. Fear for her daughter becomes a fire that refuses to die. Sarah realizes that if she does not escape, the cycle may repeat through the next generation. An unexpected leak becomes the first real crack in the prison. Water begins dripping from above, and Sarah stares at it as if it is a signal from fate. She starts breaking at the weakened area, scraping and striking until she opens a small hole. At night she tries to shine light through it, hoping someone outside will notice. A neighbor sees something strange, light in a place that should be dark, and grows concerned enough to knock and question it. Sarah's father hears, understands the risk, and responds with damage control, pretending nothing is wrong. Bane. Afterward, he goes to the basement and punishes Sarah viciously for causing suspicion. The beating is so severe that it causes a miscarriage, adding another layer of trauma and grief. Sarah's body becomes another battleground, and her children witness the consequences of resistance. As the children grow, they begin asking questions about the cruelty they see. Sarah cannot protect their minds forever with half-truth. Eventually, she tells them the reality. The man holding them is her father, and the children are also his victims. The revelation terrifies them, but it also unites them in a shared understanding that their lives are not normal, and that escape is not just a wish, it is necessary. When Sarah's father learns she has told them, he explodes again, beating her and tightening control, desperate to keep the family's illusion intact. Outside, his life begins to collapse. He loses his job, debt mounts, financial pressure rises, and the risk of losing the house becomes real. If the home is searched, if it is sold, if strangers enter the basement, the truth will surface. In desperation, he considers murder as a solution to silence the secret forever. He attempts to pipe car exhaust into the basement to suffocate Sarah and the children, but the plan is interrupted by another family member nearby, forcing him to stop before the deaths occur. The attempt shows how close they are to being erased. stand. After roughly 20 years of captivity, a medical emergency becomes the turning point. Sarah's daughter suffers from asthma, and one day she has a severe attack. Sarah begs for help, knowing the child could die without treatment. Her father resists at first, unwilling to risk exposure, but the crisis becomes too dangerous to ignore. He agrees to take Sarah and the daughter to the hospital, leaving the son behind as leverage. For the first time in 2 decades, Sarah steps out of the basement and sees daylight like a stranger seeing the world for the first time. The house, the street, the air, everything feels unreal. At the hospital, Sarah finds a fragile opening. During routine paperwork, she creates a distraction and, in the brief moment her father turns away, she reaches a medical staff member and clings to them for help, making it unmistakably clear that she is in danger. Authorities are alerted immediately. A police officer intervenes before the captor can flee. Under pressure, the truth spills out and the basement is finally exposed. Police rescue the son still hidden inside. The family learns the scale of the horror. Sarah has spent more than 2 decades imprisoned beneath the home, and her children have lived their entire lives in captivity. When Sarah's mother and sister see her again, the shock is beyond words. They must face the unbearable fact that the monster was not a stranger, but the husband and father they lived with. In the aftermath, the story returns to Christopher, who never stopped caring. Years later, still unmarried, he meets Sarah again. The reunion is quiet and heavy, shaped by everything time stole from them. The film closes on that bittersweet note: survival after unimaginable cruelty, a life that cannot be restored to what it was, but can still move forward.